seconds short.
You know why I'm here.
And we are live. Are we actually this time? Oh, okay, because this is the second intro I've had to do because about like a minute into last time, Carlos said, hey, you're going to hate me. I never pressed record. Yes, bro. Hit him with a bro. All right. Announcement for next week. We're going to have 2 episodes. I don't know when the second one will be. We will record a regular episode on Tuesday that'll be uploaded on Thursday as usual. But we're doing an NBA free agency recap. I don't know if that's going to be with Blue, but we're definitely going to work on that.
Okay.
And 2 episodes coming next week, kind of like this week. That's pretty cool. With that being said, let's just get straight into the NFL. That makes me so happy. All right. Let's get to the ones that don't feel good. The Dolphins struggled to move the ball on offense. Their offensive line really could not hold up to Denver's defensive line. Denver's defensive line really impressed me. I watched the whole game, so it impressed me, but I think it impressed a lot of people because that defense is really injury-riddled. I know that Von Miller, which is the best defensive player on the team, one of the best defensive players in football, he's out, and all of their secondary is really young. They traded Chris Harris. Everybody thought that their secondary was going to get worse. Their front 7 is playing really good football right now. So, yeah, if it's a battle of 2 lines and a battle of young teams, the defensive line won. And I'm not okay with that because I love my Dolphins, but I'm okay knowing that we lost to the better team on the day. Seattle actually holds on to beat the Cardinals. So they actually had to hold the Cardinals offense to 21 points, which is pretty hard to do because the Cardinals have Kyler Murray, who can run the ball all over you, and they've got DeAndre Hopkins, who I said in last episode was the best wide receiver in football. So that young defense and that young secondary that's banged up, who has practice squad players on it, played really well. I think they deserve a lot more credit than what they're getting. The thing with Seattle has always been their pass rush. Carlos Dunlap is not figuring it out. He's the catalyst for improvement there. And the Seahawks will get better. The Cardinals are going to bounce back. But I'm glad to see that the Seahawks held on to win. That was a good game Thursday night. Bengals versus Washington. Number 1 pick versus number 2 pick. Let me start by saying prayers up for Joe Burrow. I call him Joe B. Yeah, tore his ACL, MCL, revealed structural damage with an MRI. Took a nasty hit. The hit was so nasty they never showed the replay.
Bruh.
They just never showed the replay. Chase Young absolutely dominated Cincinnati's offensive line. Chase Young, like I said last time, he's going to be a stud. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know if he was the one that made the hit on Joe Burrow to injure him, but when Joe Burrow was trying to run it into the end zone, Chase Young met him at the 1, and Joe Burrow was at the 2 after that. That was a pretty tough hit. Chase Young is a monster of a person, and he's going to dominate, as he did on Sunday. New Orleans actually beat Atlanta, even though they have backup quarterbacks right now. Drew Brees is out with a couple broken ribs, some punctured lungs. He'll be back soon. But with backup quarterbacks Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill actually getting the nod for the start, they beat Atlanta to sweep the season series. Easy peasy. Atlanta's going to get a top 5 pick because they suck. Pittsburgh beat Jacksonville. They are 10-0 for the first time in franchise history. Pittsburgh has 5 Super Bowl titles, and they've never gone 10-0. And it just sucks because on the year that they do go 10-0, they're not making it past the divisional round because they might have to play Kansas City or Tennessee. And they almost lost to Tennessee. They were about 1 more minute away from losing to Tennessee. They've had a really easy schedule up to this point. Not to take anything away from their accomplishment. It's great. I'm glad that Pittsburgh's back on top. They spent so many years trying to rebuild back. They did not make the playoffs last year. So for them to be 10-0 right now is awesome. But I do think that the hype will go down soon, and it will go down hard. Cleveland stopped Philly's comeback. So Philly was actually about to come back on Cleveland because Cleveland doesn't know how to play football in the fourth quarter. Philly only knows how to play football in the fourth quarter. This game, to me at least, prove that it's time to bench Wentz and it's time to go Jalen Hurts, because you drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. You give Carson Wentz a huge contract and then draft a quarterback in an early round. So I don't know what the thought process there was, but if you knew something like this was going to happen, you might as well do what you plan to do if this happened. And that's put in Jalen Hurts. There's no way that Jalen Hurts can be worse than Carson Wentz.
You gonna learn today.
So I just think it's time for Hurts. I'm on the Jalen Hurts appreciation train. I think his work at Alabama was amazing. His work at Oklahoma was even better from a personal standpoint. But yes, I think it's time for him to play in the NFL. Oh, cool. I can't read my own handwriting. So the Panthers actually shut out Detroit. They beat them 20-0. I thought Detroit was going to win that game, and the Panthers didn't allow them to score a single point. That's Detroit. Don't know what else to say. Detroit's not very good. They never have been good. But I thought they were going to win, and they just let me down. The Titans win the AFC Divisional. So last year's AFC Divisional round had the Baltimore Ravens host, the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens hosting the wild card Tennessee Titans. And the Tennessee Titans were able to win that divisional round. Lamar had a terrible game. This year in the rematch, Lamar had a bad game. Tennessee forces OT and then scores the go-ahead 26-yard run to end the game. And who other than Derrick Henry would win you that game? Best running back in football right now. He's the reason they're a good team. Derrick Henry is amazing. The Titans are getting better every week. Jadeveon Clowney just hit the IR, but I don't think that's going to affect the non-existent pass rush that they have anyway. So there's that. The offense is getting better every week. Tannehill's getting better every week. A.J. Brown's ridiculous. Tennessee is amazing. I honestly do think that they're good. They're a great team. They deserve to win this game. I really think they're the better team. Excuse me. Let me get some water. I'm going to drink water like this.
All right.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I really just wanted to. My girlfriend Maline's right here, and I just really wanted to see her face. I'm sorry that you all have to deal with those consequences. The Chargers beat the Jets. Just like Pittsburgh, the Jets have no wins. So, like Pittsburgh has no losses, the Jets have no wins. They're 0-10. I don't know if this is the first time in franchise history. I hope not, because I hate the Jets. But they're 0-10. That's awesome, because we're only 6 games away from 0-16. And I really, you know what? I saw a video of Frank Gore, and Frank Gore was like, this might be my last season, so we need at least one. Like, we got to get one. So I kind of want him to go 1-15 just for Frank Gore. But they're the Jets. So if they go 0-16, I'll be really happy. Sorry, Dad. Keenan Allen actually had 16 catches that game. I think his chemistry with Herbert is going to continue to get better. It's going to continue to improve. And I think him opposite field, Mike Williams, is amazing. Like, Mike Williams is a big target, not meant to be a number 1 receiver. So he can go up and make the big plays while Keenan Allen does all the number 1 receiver work, which is chop up a defense, which is exactly what he did on Sunday when he had a franchise record 16 catches. Congratulations, Keenan Allen. The Cowboys beat the Vikings. The Vikings are so unpredictable. One week they play like the best team in football, and the next week they lose to the Cowboys. Everybody knows how I feel about the Cowboys. It's not a secret. You cannot lose to the Cowboys, especially if I called that you were going to dominate. I even said Mike McCarthy was going to get fired at the end of the season. I was like, Vikings win. Mike McCarthy's getting fired at the end of the season. End of that. I didn't even talk about the game. I just said the Vikings were going to win. And they lost. And they lost pretty embarrassingly.
Bruh.
Like, I get it. Andy Dalton came back for the Cowboys off the concussion protocol. I get it. Ezekiel Elliott had a 100-yard game. I think it was his first of the season. But you're the Vikings. They're the Cowboys. They don't have a quarterback. What? The Vikings are the most disappointing team in football, to me at least, because from all the talent that they have on their roster, to be losing to the Cowboys and to not have a winning record, They beat Green Bay.
Calm down.
They made Green Bay look dumb. They dominated Green Bay. And then they come back and they lose to Dallas. I honestly think Mike Zimmer, is going to be the first head coach fired in the offseason. It's not going to be Adam Gase. As much as Jet fans want, he's going to be gone, but the first head coach to not have a job will be Mike Zimmer. The Chiefs' 2-minute drill is unstoppable.
That's according to the Bible.
Patrick Mahomes, with 1:30 on the clock, has ice in his veins. He's cold-blooded. He was making throws off the run, in the pocket, on a scramble, on a bootleg, whatever he wants. He doesn't have to. He does it because he wants to, because he knows he can, and it's going to work. And then when you have Travis Kelce, who's the best tight end in football, it's going to work. It's going to work. Andy Reid even said it. I have Pat Mahomes, so if you give me 1:30 seconds, I'll be okay.
Okay.
That's how much confidence that head coach has in that quarterback. That they could be down however many points, and if they need a touchdown with 2 minutes left, he knows he's going to get one.
Because I spit hot fire.
I've never seen anybody run the 2-minute drill like Patrick Mahomes. And I've watched a lot of great quarterbacks play. Like Peyton Manning, my favorite player. Peyton Manning's the reason I love football. I watched Peyton Manning run a lot of 2-minute drills. None of them are as good as this guy. I've seen Tom Brady run more 2-minute drills than I'd like to admit. No, he doesn't do it as good as Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is only 24. I think he's only 24, 25. And he's already doing what he's doing in the fourth quarter. That's amazing. The Chiefs are going to repeat. This whole season is just going to lead up to the Chiefs repeating and everybody else getting a participation trophy. Thank you for participating in COVID-19's football season. The Rams secondary clutched it out for me because I said that the Rams were going to win, and then it didn't look like they were going to win for a second there. Tom Brady was driving. He was going to do it again. I've seen Tom Brady do it so many times, and he threw a pick. He threw a pick. He's human. He's not a god. He's not a football god. He's just a guy. Tom Brady's getting old. He's making more mistakes. The Rams defense, that's the best secondary in football. And Aaron Donald is their main pass rusher. So that defense is amazing. They're not allowing separation from receivers, and all quarterbacks have Aaron Donald barreling down the pocket on them. I think the Rams defense doesn't get the credit that it deserves, and they're just going to keep doing this. The Rams defense is just going to keep doing this. The only problem with the Rams is Jared Goff's consistency. That is it. Jared Goff's a good quarterback. I'm not saying anything bad about Jared Goff. He's just inconsistent. He'll have these 3 touchdown versus a great defense games like he had this day on Monday, and then he'll throw 4 interceptions versus like Cincinnati or something. Somebody completely awful. I think the only problem with the Rams is Jared Goff's inconsistency. I know Sean McVay loves him, but they paid him. But I don't think that they truly, genuinely believe that he's going to lead them to the promised land. All right. We are wrapping up the NFL. Back to my top 10 teams. So at 10, I got Baltimore. Even though Baltimore's on a 2-game skid, they're 6-4. I still think they're a top 10 team. Like, I don't think they're more than 9 teams better than the Baltimore Ravens. At 9, I have Seattle, which is heartbreaking, but they're just not good. They got Russell Wilson, but they're not good. So I got Seattle. 8, I got Buffalo. 7 at Tennessee. 6, Tampa Bay. 5, Green Bay. 4, I got the Rams sneaking into the top 5. Got the Rams at 4. 3, I got New Orleans. 2, Pittsburgh. And then 1, your reigning Super Bowl champs and future Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. All day, every day.
Okay.
Let's look forward to NFL Week 12. So, I'll do my game last. So, I got Houston versus Detroit. I'm taking Houston. I think Detroit sucks. That's what I think. I don't even think that Houston's better than Detroit at anything other than quarterback, but Detroit's a bad team with a bad coach. They're just going to lose this game because they will just lose this game. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. I got Pittsburgh. Baltimore's going to drop to 6-5. Pittsburgh's going to go 11-0 and lock up that division. Excuse me. Washington versus Dallas. I got Washington, even though Dallas coming off a huge win over the Vikings, like I said. I still got Washington. I think they have the better defense, which is crazy because the Cowboys spent so much bread on the defense. But Washington has a better defense. Even though they don't have a real quarterback situation, I do think that they are the better team, and they will win that game. Arizona versus New England. After beating Baltimore, Cam said that they're going to start coming on strong and everybody should be scared because they're starting to click. And then they lose to Houston. They lost to Houston. So I'm going to pick Arizona.
Bruh.
Because New England, you know. Carolina versus Minnesota. Minnesota just disappointed me so bad. I'm going to go Carolina, even though I completely acknowledge the fact that Minnesota is the better team. San Francisco versus L.A. Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams easily.
Bruh.
Sorry, Mark. Kansas. I'll talk about that one later. Cleveland versus Jacksonville. I'm going to take Cleveland, even though I think they're really inconsistent and they have a lot of question marks on offense and defense. Ooh, I just dropped my phone. Jacksonville's a terrible team. I do not think Jacksonville pulls off the win. Tennessee versus Indiana. Indiana. This is not basketball. Indianapolis. I have Tennessee winning. Derrick Henry is awesome, and I just think that he's going to do what he did last week and make sure that they have a chance to win this game. Because don't get me wrong, Indianapolis could definitely win this game. They just beat Green Bay. But Derrick Henry's going to make sure that they have a way to win this game, and they're going to win the game. New York Giants versus Cincinnati. I'm going to take the New York Football Giants with this win and the tiebreaker over Washington. The Giants at 4-7 will move into first place in the division. Come on, man. At 4 wins and 7 losses, you're going to move into first place in your division. That means the Jets, if the Jets were in that division at 0-10, they'd still have a chance to win that division. That's how bad the NFC least is. They shouldn't even be a part of football. I said it. I don't care. Fight me. Sue me. Sorry, TT. I got the Chargers beating Buffalo, which is crazy because Buffalo's coming off a bye, and they're a better team. But I think Justin Herbert doesn't like to lose. He got a bad haircut, and now he has a W. So I think he's just going to keep riding that momentum. Keenan Allen just came off one of the best games of his career. He's going to keep riding that momentum, and they're going to find a way to squeak one out versus Buffalo. Las Vegas versus Atlanta. I got Las Vegas because Atlanta is the Falcons. New Orleans versus Denver. This is a tricky one because Denver just really impressed me versus the Dolphins. And New Orleans doesn't have their quarterback. So I'm going to go Denver because the defensive line makes me feel good. Chicago versus Green Bay. I got Green Bay, even though stylistically this is a terrible matchup for Green Bay because Chicago has a great defensive line that can stop the run and get to the passer. So Green Bay should have a rough night, but I do think that Chicago's offense is that much of a liability that Green Bay is going to be able to score enough points to get the dub. Miami versus the Jets. The Jets, you know what? I said that Miami was going to just mop the floor with Denver, and we lost, and Tua got benched. So I'm not going to say that they wiped the floor with the Jets, but I mean, like, if you're talking like we win by like somewhere around 20-something points, I wouldn't be surprised. You feel me? So whatever that means to you, then it means to you. But I'm saying we're going to win by more than 4 touchdowns. And then I skipped this because I want to talk about it in depth. Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. It's happening on 4:30 Eastern time. Everybody grab your popcorn because that's 2 high-powered offenses going against 2 very good defenses. And that's a great game. This is going to be such a good game. This damn near might be a Super Bowl preview. And I think that the football gods have blessed us with this game. Monday Night Football, Seattle versus Philly. I got Seattle absolutely dominating Philly. Russ is going to go off because Philly has no defense. And Wentz is actually going to get benched. I think he's going to do so bad versus Seattle's bad defense that they're going to bench him, and Hurts is going to go in. It's not going to be enough for the dub, though, because I got Seattle winning 38-17 for a total of 55. All right. So we're going to talk about the upcoming UFC. We got Curtis Blaydes versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is the UFC heavyweight knockout king, holds the UFC record for most heavyweight knockouts. We're only going to talk about 2 fights. Everybody else on the card is, to put it like frankly, I guess they're not famous. I'm not going to talk about them. Nobody's going to care. But in the main event, I got Curtis Blaydes, Derek Lewis. I love Derek Lewis. Joe Rogan put a microphone in his face and said, "Why did you take your pants off?" In the middle of right after the UFC fight was done, just took his pants off, middle of the cage. Joe Rogan goes, "Why'd you take your pants off?" Derek Lewis goes, "My balls is hot." And you know what Joe Rogan says? I understand. Everybody loves Derek Lewis, but he cannot wrestle. Curtis Blaydes is the only heavyweight I've ever seen that can wrestle for 25 minutes. He out-wrestles everybody he fights. It doesn't matter who. The only person who's ever beat him, I don't know about that, but the only person who I've ever seen beat him is Francis Ngannou. And it's been in the first round off a wild punch that probably shouldn't land, but it happened twice. And that's because Francis Ngannou is the scariest person in the world. But I think Curtis Blaydes wrestles his way to a unanimous decision. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Derek Lewis will have his moments in the fight because every round starts on the feet. Derek Lewis hits really hard. He has a puncher's chance as always because that's who Derek Lewis is. But if $100 or a gun was up to my head and who's gonna win this fight, Blaydes by unanimous decision due to wrestling is probably the way I'd go. All right, in the co-main event, we got Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark. Devin Clark really has nothing to lose in this fight. He's coming in as 12-4, super young guy, going against Anthony Smith, who just fought John Jones a couple years ago for a title. He didn't look good, but he fought him. Anthony Smith is a monster in his own right. Got KO'd by Glover Teixeira after getting completely dominated for 5 rounds. And then comes back to lose to Alexander Rakic by decision. So he's got everything to prove. He needs a win, and I think he's going to get one. I got him by submission. And Devin Clark will have a good showing, though. It'll be a great fight, and Anthony Smith needs a win, so he's going to get one. Other than that, thank you to the Raw DJs. Thank you to Malene. Love everybody. See you guys twice next week. And we're out. Woo!
They know why I'm here. You know why I'm here.